Hi, this is Matricity from Matricity's Muses. Welcome to my Matrix. Arrgh! It's a pirate matrix today. This is one of the funnest day of the years. It is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Have you ever observed that day before? Oh my gosh, I have. Me and my friends have. This has been a fun day throughout the years where we actually get to dress up like pirates and we embrace our inner pirate spirit. I think all my life I've always felt I've been a pirate as far as embracing that pirate spirit. So when this day came along, oh, I was all about it. I told my friends about it, and then we began to dress up, and unfortunately, I don't have any of my pirate gear on today because it's all packed away. I moved recently, so everything is packed up. So the best I could do was wearing this black and white striped dress and wearing some red lipstick, you know, black and white pirate. So there you go. So we would dress up, my friends and I, and we would have parties with wonderful food. Everything was pirate themed. It was a grand old time, and it was a lot of fun. So I do miss those days because we don't do it anymore, which is unfortunate. But there still are lots of things to do today. One is Talk Like a Pirate today. I'm here today at wonderful White Point Gardens, and this is the hanging place. This is in Charleston, and this is part of the dark history of Charleston that a lot of people don't talk about. But this is where all of our pirates and some of the bad prisoners were hung. And they were hung out to dry right here at White Point Gardens, and their bodies were left hanging. Do you remember that scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where you come to the port and you see the bodies of the pirates like hung down from a board and they're just like swinging in the wind, half decayed skeletons? Well, that was Charleston. That was Charleston also. So we have a dark history here when it comes to some of the things here. And if you take one of the Charleston pirate tours, you would learn about that. There's also, in addition to the pirate tour, there is a dark history of Charleston tour that you can take, which also lets you know about the brothels. So all the brothels that we had here and pirates and bad things going on lends itself well to Pirate Day being here in Charleston. So the actual day itself, International Talk Like a Pirate Day, began in 1995 with two friends. And let me get their names right. One's name was John Bauer, I think that's pronounced correctly, and Mark Summers. They began this day and just kind of took off through the internet. It became viral. People began to dress up, began to have parties, the whole 9 yards, and people still do. And even some of the bigger retailers and businesses got in on it as well. I know that Krispy Kreme used to give you a free dozen donuts if you would dress up like a pirate, and they had stipulations on their website what you had to wear to get those donuts, and you would go and get a whole dozen donuts free just for dressing like a pirate. I've done that. I dressed up like a pirate here in Charleston and went over to Savannah Highway and got my free dozen donuts on International Talk Like a Pirates Day. Now Krispy Kreme hasn't done it in 2 years, which is kind of sad. So they haven't had that opportunity out there for people to dress up and get donuts on Pirates Day anymore. At one time, we used to have a restaurant in town called, it was in Mount Pleasant, called Queen Anne's Revenge. And we went there, my friends and I, one year, dressed in full pirate gear. And we were the loudest, raucous pirates you could be. But we had a grand old time and a wonderful meal. And they would actually give you a discount if you dressed up like a pirate on Pirates Day and had dinner there. So lots of places around town used to have fun things. Even like bookstores would give you discounts on Pirates Day if you said certain things, you know, in Pirates Day, on pirate language. So it's always been a lot of fun to observe this day. Now I want to tell you about two of Charleston pirates. Now we are a seaport city, and we had some famous pirates here in Charleston. Yes, we did. The first one is Steve Bonnet, and he was our gentleman pirate. Now Steve Bonnet was actually a wealthy landowner. He had a plantation and a wife, and he was educated and he went to school. But his wife apparently was a nagging wife. And so one day he was done. He looked at her after one last nag and said, "Arrgh, I'm done with you, you filthy bilge rat. It's a pirate's life for me." So he left. He left his wife and became a pirate. But as a pirate, he was still gentlemanly as far as being on his boats. He had no maritime experience. He dressed up as a pirate. He wore, you know, like the full English garb. He wore his wigs as a pirate. So he was a gentleman pirate. And he, when he was eventually caught, he was actually hung here, right here at Brittlebank Park. Not Brittlebank Park, but White Point Gardens, where he died. So he was killed here back in 1718 here in Charleston, hung here on the Battery. Now, our second most famous pirate is Blackbeard. His full name was Edward Teach. You've heard the story of Blackbeard. Now, I actually think he's so famous that some people don't think he was real, but he was real. Some say he was even born right here in the Low Country, but that's debatable. But anyway, he actually started out in the military. He served, let's see, he fought in Queen Anne's War. And then eventually he turned to the pirate life as well. Now, he was a very ominous pirate. He actually wore his hair in braids, long black braids. And he would sometimes light the ends of them on fire so they would smoke. The other thing he would used to do was to set charges off underneath the brim of his hat so that his face was obscured in smoke. So he was kind of spooky and scary. So if you saw him coming, you definitely didn't want anything to do with him. Now, he actually was the one who set up the whole blockade of the Charleston harbor. He and his pirates were kind of ill. They actually were sick with lots of venereal diseases, you know, sexually transmitted diseases. And so what he did was he sailed into the Charleston harbor, set up a blockade, took it over, took several ships hostage, and took all the prisoners on those ships as ransom. Then he wanted not gold, not money, not jewels to give the prisoners back. He wanted medical supplies to help treat his pirates since they were so ill. So the governor at that time, he decided it was the right thing to do to get the people back. So he loaded up a ship with 400 pounds of medicine, antibiotics, and whatever they had at the time, and sent it out to the harbor to Blackbeard. And so Blackbeard took over the medical supplies, and he, believe it or not, let all the prisoners go. They were unharmed, but they were terrified. I mean, you think about somebody walking around with lighting their hair tips on ends and fire and, you know, around their face and smoke. That's pretty spooky. He let the prisoners go, but they were all naked, but they were unharmed. So that is Blackbeard. So once he left Charleston Harbor with the medical supplies, he went on to North Carolina, where he got into another battle, and he eventually lost the battle, but he was beheaded. He was beheaded and he died there. And so the bad thing that happened to him was that his head, you know, the captain that killed him put his head on the bow of his boat as like a, what do you call it? You know, like a hood ornament, you know, a ship ornament. And it decayed and was nasty. And so that's what happened to Blackbeard's head. So those are two of our pirates that were here in Charleston. We have others, and the stories that go along with them are kind of funny. But that's something to really look into. We are a pirate town. Savvy? The other thing that I have done as a pirate, do you remember the USS Bounty, that pirate ship that kind of sank a couple years ago, and the captain went down with the ship? And he actually made, I think, a bad decision as far as where they were and the weather and the storm. Well, the USS Bounty came to Charleston many times, and the last time it was here, I actually had a chance to see it. I had never been on it before. It was a tall ship. So me and Sylvia and Sylvia's grandson and my daughter, we went to see it. And of course, Sylvia and I, because we're all about pirates, we dressed up in our pirate gear. My daughter was embarrassed. She's like, Mommy, no one's going to be dressed up except pirates except you two. I said, okay, it's all good. I am a pirate, so I'm in the pirate spirit. So we went, and sure enough, the only people that were dressed like pirates were us, me and Sylvia. Whitney did have a hat. I brought her a hat too, and she did put that on. But the crew, of course, they were all dressed up in their pirate gear, so we fit right in. We had a grand old time meeting them, took pictures with them, but it is kind of sad because, you know, not long after that, the Bounty sank. You know, the captain was lost, and, you know, we have our pictures and our memories of him. Oh my gosh, a bee, get away. You know, so that was kind of a sad situation as far as losing the Bounty, and, you know, we have those memories, but it was kind of sad. But that's a pirate's life. Now, the other thing when you think about pirates is one of my favorite series of movies, Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, I worked for Disney for 10 years, so of course the whole pirate life thing, that's probably where it got started for me, really. But I have watched those movies. I actually own all the DVDs. Except the newer ones, the one with the mermaids, you know, the vampire mermaids. I don't have that one, but I've seen all of them. Love Jack Sparrow. He is the best pirate ever. And when you think about Jack Sparrow, one of our pirates in Charleston, I guess one of the guys who does the pirate tours here, he looks just like Jack Sparrow. And it's actually been on the news that when you on the Battery, you will see Jack Sparrow walking around here. I kid you not. And it's uncanny. I've seen him myself, and it's uncanny, the look-alike. The makeup he does to make him look like Jack Sparrow, but it's amazing. So I love that whole series with the Pirates of the Caribbean. I've watched those movies multiple times over and over again. And I just love pirates. So it's all about the pirate life. And, you know, embrace your inner pirate on these days like this, because, you know, as adulting, we adult all the time, and that's all we can do as adult. Adulting sometimes is not fun. So when you can throw a little fun in there, a little spark in there, a little energy in there to do something a little bit different, then do it, because it's certainly worth it. So on this day, embrace your pirate spirit, because I have. On NPR, I was listening to earlier, right now on Sonatas and Soundscapes, NPR is playing pirate music and nautical music to celebrate the day. And some of the commentators are actually talking like pirates today, you know, breaking up the piratese. So it's a good thing. And you can actually go online and learn how to talk like a pirate today. So there are little guides to help you. You can actually put in the English phrase and then hit a little button, and it will translate to pirate English for you. So that's out there. I think Facebook, actually, you can actually select Pirate English as well instead of regular English as well on your Facebook page. Only you can see it, but it's there. So there are lots of things you can do as far as embracing the day. So that is going to be it. You know, ahoy, mateys, embrace your inner pirate today. And I will see you later, alligator. Bye.